USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, I have no idea we're going on a cruise because James just went on a cruise. So, James, how was your cruise?
So many great places to see and places to talk about. Oh, it's going to be fun.
Let's do it.
Intro music.
Feels no good to be dead. Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Yes, it is. Sometimes everything works fine. Sometimes we get some weird sounding people coming out of here. But right now it's working, so let's not jinx anything. James, what's happening, my man?
Oh, just feels good to be back talking about all things Star Wars, making sure that I bob my head along to the intro music so I don't get ridiculed about it for the whole episode.
That's right. That's what I do.
That's a dangerous living if you thought bounty hunting was bad.
Yeah, getting made fun of for not bopping your head around is very dangerous, yes.
It's tragic. Yes.
While you were gone, we did a little around the Dejeric table with our three regulars, Ken, David, and Tom. We talked all about Andor, and we had a good time doing it. We missed out. You were too busy, gallivanting all around the world to hang out with us last week. But now we're back on this weird schedule. It took us a little bit, but we did around the Dejeric table last week. But now we're back with you this week, and we're gonna have a break next week, and then you and I will be back in 2 weeks from now. And I think we'll be on that good every other week cycle from there. So
should be working. So
should be working that way. So that's awesome. So welcome back. And you had a fun time on your cruise. You enjoyed all the food and
had a great time. The food was great. The entertainment was good. All the people we were around, for the most part, were good. A few people that were odd ducks, but that's what's going to happen when you're on a ship with 6,000 other tourists and everyone else. The other cool things we got to do is we got to spend basically 2 afternoons around Disney Springs and some of the resort hotels in the Florida park, which we don't get by nearly that often. So that was pretty neat. And then a day at Epic Universe and a day at Universal Studios. So checking out the other world that kind of exists there. And Epic Universe, worth the hype.
I was going to say, I heard Epic Universe is amazing. So
It really was. There's just so much goodness there.
Was it crowded for you as well?
Surprisingly, not too bad.
Okay.
We did hear from a security guard as we were going in that they were at about 2/3 of their expected capacity for the day.
Oh, wow.
So whether or not we fully believe that, who knows?
Who knows?
We were able to do everything inside the park except we didn't ride the Mario Kart Bowser Castle attraction because we had already done that in Hollywood. And we're like, if there's something we're going to miss, it's the thing we've done before. So let's go and see everything else. And there was some real goodies. Our favorite thing, though, probably was the Harry Potter show that happened inside the circus tent.
Okay.
Because as Tig will say, it was incredible. A guy juggled bubbles.
Okay, now I can juggle juggling balls. I can juggle handkerchiefs, scarves. Yeah, I started learning how to juggle scarves, and it was like, oh, you start with scarves. They're completely different. Like you kind of get the pattern, but then you got to go underhand. And I was even getting pretty good at juggling pins as well, but I have never, ever juggled bubbles. That's very impressive.
It's wild. There's just no good way to explain it. You have to see it. This poor guy sticks his hands in his pockets and pulls out like the bubble, like liquid and everything, and blows the bubble through his hands. It is like, it should not be a highlight, but it is totally a highlight moment from all of this. So
yeah, that is amazing. I would love to be able to see that. So I'm gonna have to go to Epic Universe to check that out. Yep. Before we talk about more juggling tricks with James, let's bring out our festive drinks for the evening. What do you have? Oh, that looks like Tatooine to me.
I know, right? Courtesy of Three Sheeps, we have Rebel Kent.
Okay, so they
if
went
not
right along with it.
Yeah, if not Tatooine, it is the farmland from Andor, where they
Yes.
were all hanging out at as well. So lots of great questions.
That's awesome. I found from, I have to look at it this way, brewed and canned by Thin Man Brewery in Buffalo, New York, is Sci-Fi Hamster Wheel.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
So I was looking for anything that kind of resembled Star Wars, and I think a Sci-Fi Hamster Wheel does the trick. So here we go. So. And this is a IPA, 6.6% IPA. So somebody's sleeping nice tonight, let me tell you.
Good luck. Mine's only 5.
Oh, there you go. All right, let's do the poppers. Oh. There you go. And, of course, you don't have a glass, or do you have a glass this time? No glass for James. All right, I'm going to try and do this the appropriate way.
Yeah, I appreciate your pour and you drinking through the IPAs. That is like the one beer I found I don't really enjoy. And there was a beer as we were looking that was like a Stardust IPA. And I'm like, that is so on theme.
Yes.
I don't want to drink that.
Yeah, look at too much head there. That's bad.
Yeah, a little too much. You even tipped the glass. You were doing it right.
I was doing it right. And maybe I was going too fast. I don't know. All right, I'll have to let it settle down a little bit before I try it. I'll drink out of the can for now. So cheers, James.
Yeah, there you go. Cheers.
Mine's a little citrusy. It's not bad. It's not. I was expecting for an IPA to be very hop forward. There's definitely hops in there, but it has some kind of citrus going with it. It doesn't. They don't give any description other than IPA, Indian Pale Ale, but
with a surprise.
With a surprise, yeah, little bit more citrusy than a normal IPA. What about you? How's yours?
Mine is exactly what I would expect an amber ale to taste like. No surprises, no gimmicks, just straight to the point. Probably not going to last me through the show. That thing's going to be gone pretty quick. It is tasty. So,
and mine's also a pint, so 16 ouncer on top of it. So I'm going to have to make sure that our show goes at least an hour and a half to get through the whole thing.
Good thing our topic can go for hours.
I know. Oh my
gosh!
If we want to. So, as James said, our main topic this week is going to be all about all the planets in Star Wars galaxies, in the galaxy of Star Wars, I should say.
All of them.
All of them. And the first thing that popped up from StarWars.com is a map of about 500 planets. I was shocked to see how many planets there are. I don't think we're going to get through all of them. I know James really wants to. But we both have things to do tomorrow, and being here, that could be our 24-hour show. Could just be just naming all of the planets. I think will take 24 hours, let alone details on them.
I felt really good when I found like a quiet moment on the cruise. Just pulled out my notebook and got up to like 25 or 27 at some point. So
you were
I was like, the fact that there's 500, I'm like, oh Lord,
I know.
What stories do I not remember?
Yeah, and I think like a lot of it is probably from books and stuff like that. So books and comic books and whatever. But yeah, the Star Wars galaxy map. I'm trying to think. It doesn't zoom down. There we go. Yeah, I mean, you can't even see all the words. It's so dense. So I don't know where all these planets have come from, but there's just too many to even mention right now. So it is crazy, whacked, funky. So we're gonna get to like. I found like 9 or 10 that I thought were good. James found, like you said, he listed 27. I don't know if we're going to get through all 27. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll save some other ones for later. But at least a brief rundown of the core ones that we see the most in Star Wars.
Before we do that, though,
yes.
I do have a list that we can get through.
Okay.
And that's the other shows on the Ears Up Network.
Yes, let's do that. So all the other shows on the Ears Up Network, we got the main show, Ears Up. We have The Supreme Resort. By the way, James, I don't know if you know, the Supreme Resort boys, they like to kick us out of the studio and make us record normally in the horse trailer in the backyard.
Rude.
Yeah, I know. So luckily you're not recording on set and you're in your house where you don't have to go to the horse trailer. But
Yeah,
I've been
dangerous.
I've been recording from the horse trailer for quite some time now. We have PewDiePie, which are the Marvel guys, Scraping the Vaults, which they do all of the straight to DVD / VHS / they're getting almost into the Disney Plus era of movies and things like that. They also have Buena Vista Boys, which they do the same thing as the Supreme Resort, but they do it for all the live action Star Wars movies and stuff or not Star Wars, Disney movies and things like that. So there are the other shows on the network. Please check them all out. They're all good. We like them very much, and I listen to all of them. So that's that. I have some sound effects here for you because we're going to get into some Star Wars news right now.
Star Wars news.
All right. James doesn't know about any of these. They're not on our group one, so he's very excited to find out that Star Wars Visions Volume 3 key art is unveiled. Did you watch the first 2 Star Wars Visions?
I love those. I love seeing Star Wars and other art, especially some of that really anime influenced art. It is just so great, and the short stories that they've been able to tell in all of those, it's just so fun to watch. It's easy to go through them, and some of them are just so pretty that it's like I'll watch this again and again, especially because they're only like 8-12 minutes.
Yeah. Each one's quick. They always have a good story to go along with it, and they're able to a perfect short story. They're able to tell a real quick Star Wars story of some sort really fast and get you through the whole thing. There's never any cliffhangers or anything like that. Bing, bang, boom, you're in. So the third volume will be back this year. 9 Japanese animation studios have again been tapped to create their own take on the franchise, including 3 returning collaborators. Easy for you to say. All 9 anime shorts will be releasing on October 29th via Disney Plus. So that's the end of next month. No, 2 months from now.
2 months technically.
Yeah. I think I'm already in September, but we're not. We're still in August. Summer is not over yet. We're hanging on for dear life. I think this is accurate because this is from Magic Vacation Planner. Disney World announces major changes coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Did you hear about this? Okay.
I have heard of this.
All right. So, starting on May 22nd, 2026, Smuggler's Run is getting a next-level upgrade that makes every flight on the Falcon even more interactive. And this is going to be more for the engineers are going to have more things to do than they did originally. Because I don't know if you have done the engineer, but you're really just pushing a button and being like, wow, this is so exciting. I'm glad I'm here.
It's my favorite role because it's so easy to just push the buttons and then watch everything else and nobody yells at you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as cool as the pilot is, it's nice to sit in the back, push the buttons, and then just move on with your life.
And then just enjoy yourself. So the engineer is going to be able to pick the destination. For the first time ever, the engineer will decide where the crew is headed. There will be new characters. Mando, Grogu, and Hondo are joining the mission. So I said to my son, I'm like, how is Grogu going to be joining the mission? But he said he'll probably be Mando will fly up next to the Millennium Falcon or something like that, and Grogu will go, and then Mando and Grogu will take off, and Hondo will...
Kind of like Hondo flying with you. It's that new scene corresponding with the release of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It just makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah. And it says more interactive gameplay, updated controls, fresh scenes, and unpredictable adventures. This means no 2 rides will ever be the same, making Smuggler's Run a must-do for every visit to Batuu. My son was telling me the comments then after this in Instagram or whatever were, yeah, but can you stop the 4-year-old from flying the ship and crashing us?
No, that's just inevitable. That's when it's really good to be the engineer because you get to push more buttons.
You're very busy then because just crashing into everything. So yeah,
yep.
So that'll be exciting. I do like and I think going back to the joke earlier about you being on the Galactic Star Cruiser. I think the problem with the Star Cruiser was, I mean, obviously the price was astronomical, but the repeatability to it was not there because the main theme was the same every single time. So if there was different missions or different things that you were doing while you were there, then the people that could afford $6,000 to go were going to be going again. But since it was like, hey, I did it once, now I'm done, it died out real fast because not everybody can afford $6,000 for 2 days. And those who could were like, yeah, I did it. So the fact that these rides are going to be a little bit different makes it better.
Yeah, it's like Star Tours to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same attraction every time in Star Tours, just a little different because of the scenes. So you get a little bit of a different flow and feeling, and that works really well. And
Yeah.
so it's like, let's do this because it is a good attraction. There's a lot of magic to the flight simulator with the buttons that you push, and then you get to yell at your friends when they screw up.
When
and
they
it's great.
screw up and you had to fix it for them. Yeah, so it is
Exactly.
great. So that's pretty exciting. So looking forward to that. Also... This was interesting. Oh, this is good. Star Wars series Andor among the year's most Emmy-nominated shows. Andor scores 14 Emmy nominations, including Outstanding Drama. Lucasfilm will also earn nods for other titles. So, let's see if I can find all 14. No, it doesn't say. All right.
It feels so well deserved, though.
Yeah.
It-
100%.
it's genuinely just a great TV show. The fact it's Star Wars, just even better for us nerds.
Yeah, and the fact that it's also in with Outstanding Drama Series, because it's kind of like, the saying, in superhero movies never going to win Movie of the Year, and this is like a similar thing. Like Star Wars, you're going to win sound effects, you're going to win graphics and visual awards, but the fact that there's 14 of them and one of them is Outstanding Drama Series is awesome because it's what Star Wars nerds have been saying, which is this is probably the best Star Wars television ever. So that's awesome. Fan favorites also earned recognition. Forrest Whitaker is nominated for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama. He was really good as Saw Gerrera.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk is nominated for Outstanding Character Voice Over Performance. That's interesting.
Always.
He wasn't, I guess he was maybe in one episode.
I think he made it into 2.
Maybe 2.
Really, but genuinely, he was mostly involved in 1. So.
Yeah. Michael Wilkinson's costume work helped set the galaxy's tone. They are both Emmy nominated as well. Luke Hill's production design and Michael Wilkinson's costume work. The visual effects wizards at ILM earned praise for their stellar work. They also earned an Emmy nod. So this website didn't go through all 14 of the Emmy nominations, but it is awesome. Oh, John Williams is nominated for sound editing and sound. Oh, the documentary music by John Williams. Sorry. That's a whole different documentary. Is nominated for sound editing and sound mixing, and The Acolyte they're all streaming on Disney Plus. Okay, so that's exciting. I'm happy that they got that nod for drama of the year because that's really, really good because it is a Star Wars, a kids show, but this one was definitely not a kids show. Do you remember Katie Sackhoff? Sackhoff,
Yes.
I guess. She was in.
She was in Battlestar Galactica.
She started in Battlestar Galactica. She was also in The Mandalorian. She played Bo-Katan Kryze. I think I said that right. In season 2 and 3. She has an article. She went on a podcast and said, Star Wars actor says Mandalorian role destroyed their confidence. It broke me. Actor candidly revealed after struggling to understand the character. Star Wars actor Katie Sackhoff has said that her role in the franchise left her with no confidence. She was in season 2 and 3. She struggled to understand her character, which left her feeling adrift with her acting career. So much so that she didn't work for 3 years after. I lost all my confidence after Mandalorian, all of it, she said on her podcast, The Sack Off Show. I've always played 2 steps removed from myself in a sense. It always felt grounded in some part of my belly of who I was. Bo-Katan is nowhere near who I am as a human being. Her life, what she wants, I didn't understand her. As much as I understood her, I never felt her in my stomach. I never identified with her. I didn't know how to find her. Sackhoff said her experience after The Mandalorian broke her as she started doubting everything about myself. I'm not a strong auditioner on tape, and I was having to put myself on tape, she explained. I wasn't booking anything, and for 3 years I basically didn't work, and it just destroyed my confidence. Sackhoff has been working with a new manager and acting coach to restore her confidence. She'll next be seen in a TV adaptation of 1974 Stephen King novel Carrie, which was made into a film starring Sissy Spacek in 1976. It's unknown whether Sackhoff will reprise her Star Wars role in The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is set to be released in cinemas on May 22nd, 2026. Well, if we don't
Sounds
know...
like she doesn't want to.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I have a feeling she's not in it. And then this follows it up by saying in 2023, Boba Fett actor Tamora Morrison expressed disappointment over The Mandalorian's 3rd season, which received a lackluster whatever. So yeah, it seems like she forgot. I don't know. I feel bad because it's confidence is very difficult. Not everybody has as much confidence as I have in myself. Then again, I'm not also, acting for millions of people here either. But she couldn't figure it out. Olivia's in the chat. She says, seems like she shouldn't have taken that role. I mean, I don't know that.
It's complicated, right? Like when you get into any of that Mandalorian history with houses fighting and trying to take the rulership and believing that she had rights to the Darksaber, amongst other things. Like there's a lot of like lore that you can dig into with a character like this.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of commitment to watch a lot of the Clone Wars and stuff.
Yeah. Trying to find out what your character is kind of tough. So, I don't know. I think, I'm not an actor, so I don't know. I don't know how, whatever, but I do feel bad for people who, can't figure out what they want to do and then can't get work afterwards and struggling for 3 years. So, that's that. And then the final article that I have, composer John Williams says he never liked film music very much. Because there's the new, and I felt like I saw this, the John Williams biography. Didn't it already come out? Wasn't there a John Williams thing on Disney Plus?
I don't remember that, but it's very possible. I don't find myself looking at documentaries and docuseries too often. So
okay, all right. Well, as one of the greatest composers in film, John Williams has written such the most memorable music in cinema for masterpieces such as Jaws, Jurassic Park, and Star Wars. Do you like Jurassic Park? Are you a Jurassic Park fan? That first scene when they pull in the Jeeps and they stop, and I guess that the Brachiosauruses are behind them, and not John Williams, but I forget what the older guy's name is when he says, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." And the music is playing, and visually it's the most amazing thing ever. That one scene is like the greatest scene for me in film. Like just seeing that one scene, because it's so believable, and the music behind it is so amazing. It makes you want to live in a movie where you just have a beautiful score playing behind you. But yeah, John Williams' music is amazing in that.
You're thinking of John Hammond.
John Hammond, yes, he's the actor.
And you are talking about one of my favorite moments. So when I'm not talking Star Wars, I'm talking video production and other things related. And Jurassic Park is one of my favorites to talk about for good videography and cinematography. And that is one of my favorite moments because of the angles and the closeness of the shots and everything. So when you layer in this incredible reveal music from John Williams, it is like just the perfect bundle of everything that will keep holding up right now.
Yeah, it's and I'm not even a film major, and I love it. So the fact that you can see even more things going through it, is just unbelievable. It's so good. It was such, and it's funny because like I don't know how many more Jurassic Parks they've had. 6 more, maybe something like that.
There's the 3 in the original, there's the 3 Jurassic World ones, and then they just rebooted the next one with the adventure one that they just went on that probably just left theaters.
So
which was pretty good.
It was good. There's only so many times you can have people running around with dinosaurs before you start copying your scenes, and there was a lot of duplicate scenes, but with a slight twist on it. But you're like, oh, that's, and a lot of it is from the first ones, right? The first Jurassic Park was just because it was so well done. It was so amazing that, and it holds up. It was in the 90s. And I'm sure, I don't know, you don't watch documentaries as much, but the whole thing on ILM.
Oh, I watched that one.
Okay. Yeah, that whole episode on Jurassic Park and how Spanky like did the T-Rex for the first time in the computer and just had it playing when they were going to go in and watch the stop motion. And they were like, wait, put that stop motion. I'm like, what is that? You know,
that's
like,
what we want.
That's what we want. But it's still so amazing. Like, it still looks good. There's other computer CGI stuff that if you watch it now, you're like, oh, man. But the Jurassic Park, just like you said, the angles and everything, and they used it in just enough, and they had all kinds of other things going on to make you really like, wow, it was so good. But anyway, I could go on and on. And then I read the books, and so then after I read the books, the second book and the second movie are nothing alike. So then I was very disappointed in the rest of the franchise. The reboots, when they came out with the fourth one, was really good again. And then I felt like it died off again because they just ran out of ideas all over again. But anyway, whatever. So John Williams, back to this guy, who I have his autograph.
Oh, that's so cool.
Pow! Look at that right there. My son worked at the Academy of Music in Philadelphia when John Williams came to do a show. And they had all kinds of signing stuff. And I had this, my son was into vinyl for a while. And I had this one saved. And I had Disco Mickey vinyl from when I was a kid. And it wasn't called vinyl then. They were just records at that time.
Yep.
And he was like, do you want anything signed from John Williams? And I was like, get the Empire Strikes Back signed. So, so I have that signed. So it's so cool. I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy. And I of course I had to give my son a hard time because I'm a very sarcastic person. He didn't write, like he didn't say to write anything. He just wanted the signature, but there was a post note on it that said it was for Trey. So he wrote Trey, all the best, John Williams. So I was like, this isn't your record. This is mine, but now it has your name on it.
Rude.
So, of course, I had to be rude and obnoxious, but I am very, very, very excited and grateful that he was able to do that. So,
I am stunned still that he doesn't like the cinematic or movie music, because I think just for so much of a legacy, it's like him and Hans Zimmer are the two names that I can think of. And it's like they did everything. Everything that's good was those two in that era. So, I mean, there's other people too, but it's like those are the names that stick.
Yeah.
So.
He said, I never liked film music very much, he confessed in a rare interview for forthcoming biography. He added, film music, however, good as it can be, and it usually isn't, other than maybe an 8-minute stretch here and there. I just think the music isn't there. That what we think of as this precious great film music is, we're remembering it in some kind of a nostalgic way. Just the idea that film music has the same place in the concert hall as the best music in the canon is a mistaken notion, I think. He added, a lot of film music is ephemeral. It's certainly fragmented, and until somebody reconstructs it, it isn't anything that we can even consider as a concept piece. But he scored movies, over 100 movies.
Nope.
So for somebody who doesn't like doing it or doesn't think the music is good, he's done it over 100 times.
He just really wants to be the one to fix that nostalgia problem, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. He's the world's most nominated living Oscar recipient with a record 54 nominations. recognizing that his music has played a crucial role in enhancing and heightening a film's emotion and atmosphere. With 2 haunting notes, he captured the chilling thread of the great white shark in Jaws, which was really funny because he was like, let's just make it simple. And he just, just that mono. And he was like, ooh, that's fun.
Fun fact about that. Someone on Apple Music on the original Jaws soundtrack put lyrics in.
Oh,
so
that is so, yeah.
Sing along to da-da, da-da.
So it's funny that, and I remember hearing him, maybe it was, I don't know when I saw him, what documentary I saw him on, but I remember him saying that he also tried to, the orchestras didn't like playing film music either because they were like, oh, this isn't real music. This is just movie music. So he had a really hard time in the very beginning getting orchestras to play his music. Now, I swear, when he came to Philly, he only even like directed like one song, but he was just like standing there like, hey, and it was all John Williams music, and it sold out so fast, and it was so expensive to go to. So people who don't even like going to orchestras will go to John Williams music orchestras. So
yeah.
So there's that. So for someone who doesn't like it, he did a lot of it.
He did. Now he's making me contemplate. I'm like, do I like a lot of my music just because of nostalgia? Because like I'll argue for video game music as well as something that gets underrated in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it just because I really enjoyed the game and the moments that came with it? But that might be the same thing for the first time I heard a song or went to a concert and heard this, of why I like that piece of music too.
Well, there was another meme I saw that said, the majority of my classical music I learned from like Bugs Bunny cartoons.
It's true.
So,
or like Fantasia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so whatever. But I don't care. I do like the nostalgic of it, and that's fine with me because that actually makes me like that music. So I am not going to complain because it is awesome music. All right. We're done with that. Now we're on to your section, but wait till you hear this. This is, I think, my favorite song that Suno has made for me yet. Suno's an AI's writing song. You're going to love this because I know I love this.
I am Jedi of the week. Jedi of the week. I'm the Jedi of the week. I am Jedi of the week. Jedi of the week. I'm the Jedi of the week. Yo, when you see me, you say hello. Dad, call me Luke Skywalker. I'm a pro, yeah. I'm a boss like Boba Fett. In the city with my clones, I control the set, and I'm all up in the zone. If I lose a hand, I'm still gonna do it with my soul. Yeah, making moves like Solo, and I'm spinning these records like the Millennium Falcon. I feel the force and it's calling me, running it back. Yeah, that's all of me.
I could listen. This is the first Suno song that I could listen to the whole song. It's so good. For being Jedi of the Week, they do name a lot of Star Wars people who are not Jedi, but that's okay. Yep. It's fun. Olivia just put up Fire.
Yep. That is, after talking about how much we love like the classical music and the Star Wars John Williams, this feels like the perfect transition.
It's the perfect transition from John Williams' well thought out, well orchestrated music into this.
Yep. His new genre he's been looking for. It's not nostalgic anymore.
Nope. It's now hip hop AI music. Yep. All right. So you have a segment now for us called Jedi of the Week. We could listen to you, yes. Jedi of the Week. Oh, I'm going to be listening to that on the way to work tomorrow. I can guarantee it.
Can't wait. Just on replay constantly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, last week we started strong in the early Jedi archives with A. So this week we're going to continue learning our alphabet with the letter B. And this week our spotlight is on Barriss Offee. Barriss is a Murielana Jedi. And I probably said that wrong, of the planet they're from and the people they are. But that is what it is.
Are we going to learn that planet today? Probably not.
Probably not, because this is like the only time it ever gets mentioned. And that's because it's not ever mentioned in any of the lore, really, it seems like. But Barriss, when she showed up most prominently in the Clone Wars TV series, was a Padawan under Master Luminara Unduli, also from the same planet. Barriss was really known for her calm focus, her skill with force healing and other medical skills, and her disciplined approach to the force. She was a really good kind of counterbalance to a lot of the more impulsive fighters. So a real good reflection against when you saw Anakin and Ahsoka, some of the main characters in that series, and how they really kind of approach things differently. So it was great in a lot of those Clone Wars episodes when you saw Ahsoka and Barriss fighting side by side. They really developed a nice friendship, and how their different approaches and personalities could really complement each other, especially in a lot of the dangerous situations that they ended up in. So Barriss would be like cautious and like living in that tradition that came with the Jedi, while Ahsoka was just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. This is what sounds right, and here's my instinct. And so it was some good like character tension, but in the best of ways with friends as you went about it. But Barriss probably most memorable getting towards the end of that series when she started to question the Jedi Order itself. She saw that the war was really taking a toll on the Jedi, and it was changing some of their decisions and maybe some of the traditions that she really held dear. And so she started speaking up a little bit about one of her doubts and everything that was going on it. And in one of her big tense moments, she really gave this like chilling speech that really forced everyone that was listening to really think about those uncomfortable truths that she was talking about as she kind of had the stage for that moment. So it was really neat. I think she's such a great, interesting Jedi, just really showing, especially in that time of the Galactic Republic and how it's evolved through this additional storytelling, that it's not just good versus evil, but there were people questioning like, being disillusioned with the Jedi Order and having doubt and things that were kind of happening. And so she's a really good kind of conundrum to it. And I always laugh thinking about her and Luminar and Dooley, because really, when I think about them, I think about all the time I spent playing the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and both of them were like healers in the game is what they did. And I'm like, well, that totally makes sense with their characters now that I've seen them. But Luminar is for another day, probably. Today, Barriss.
Today is all Barriss. Well, very good. Thank you very much for giving us that good rundown of Barriss. And
she does show up in the background of Attack of the Clones as well. She is one of the Jedi that shows up in the arena in Geonosis. So
nice. So we do see her in the movies, which is awesome.
Not a speaking role, though. So.
Not a speaking role. That's okay. But she is this week's Jedi of the Week. Oh, I love this song. So much fun. All right, well, we're gonna go to a commercial break while we do this, while we listen to Jedi of the Week. And we'll be back with our main topic, which is breaking down all of the planets, or at least some of them. All right, we'll be right back.
When you see me. Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, and we're back. I hope you buy that product, whatever it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, sounds great. That social media advertising is really, really good where it's at.
It's right there. That's where it is. Everybody's buying stuff off of social media advertising. It's the TikTok store, but this is the Bantha Milk store. Buy it, buy it, buy it.
Dance-free, but good music.
That's right. Olivia said, James, you're going to be on DL Weekly to share about your cruise? Is that and that's a question mark?
Probably not, because it was a non-Disney cruise.
Oh,
we'll have to
there
wait
we go.
until May or June for that one. But we will probably be on to talk about Epic Universe more in depth.
There. Oh, look at that. We're getting the dropping the updates here. The whatever the
teasing across network.
Yeah. All right. So our main topic this week is going to be all about the planets, and we're not talking about Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Uranus, not a planet anymore, but we're talking about all the planets around the galaxy. And as we said earlier, the giant galaxy map, if you go to StarWars.com and find the galaxy map on StarWars.com, you're going to see so many planets you don't even know what to do with all those planets. But we're not going to talk about all of them this week. We are going to talk about just a couple of the important ones. So, we can start with the first planet that we see if you go in not chronological order, but age order.
The obvious center of the universe.
Right, which is not the center of the universe, but one would think so. Tatooine is the first planet that we see. It's a beautiful desert planet. It has 2 suns, which...
Twin suns are great.
Twin suns are visually great, but it just makes me wonder. Obviously, the twin suns burnt the planet to the ground because it's all just a desert now, because I can't imagine... just being, and I've never been to a desert, me personally. I'm trying to think. I've been to the beach, but I've never been to a desert. I take that back. I was in Las Vegas. That's a desert.
It's a desert if you get outside the city, for sure.
Once you get outside the city, it's a desert. And even just being in Las Vegas, like, it is hot, and that's only one sun. So I can't even imagine the twin suns of Tatooine. Have you been to a desert, James?
I've driven through parts of Arizona and Texas that I would consider desert. I've also been to Vegas, but not outside the city itself. I mean, we drove through and around. So, yeah, there's enough of that desert world. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'd rather have that than the humid heat that is like the swamplands of Florida and up by Georgia. But I'm still comfortable where we have seasons.
Yeah, so it's really funny. Even in New Jersey, in August, it's normally repulsive. We are right there with Florida when it comes to humidity time, and we had I want to say like 10 days in a row where it was over 95, pushing 100 degrees. So we get a lot of the heat and humidity, not like Florida where it's consistent from May to August, but Tom, who was on or who's part of Around the Dejeric Table, he's in Florida right now, and it's only 80 degrees in Florida right now. So we're in the middle of like this cold spell. And even here in New Jersey right now, it's pushing only 70s and 80s, where last week it was 97 degrees. So us East Coasters all the way up, even into Boston, it gets pretty hot up there for a little while as well. But yeah, the East Coast has, and then we have our seasons. We have December and through February. It is cold. David's on. He knows. He's from New Jersey. David just popped in and he said, "Arg." But yeah, he knows what it's like. But it's not super hot right now. But yeah, we do get it. But we don't get desert. And I love the people who are like, but it's a dry heat. When we went to Vegas, it was like 109. And I don't care how dry of a heat it is. 109 is hot. No matter what. Humid or not, it's hot. But yeah. So Tatooine, desert planet. It's the first one we see. It's where Luke was raised. It's where Obi-Wan is hiding out, so we get to meet those two people. They have also the birthplace of Anakin as well. One of the most famous bars is there, which is how did Obi-Wan describe it? The
hive of scum and villainy.
Yes,
basically.
hive of scum and villainy. Yes. So that was like, and then it's funny because then when we get into the Mandalorian, we find out that there's a whole bunch of those on every single planet. But so what else do you want to add about? Oh, the Outer Rim. Yep, I'm looking at your notes now.
I just found it hilarious thinking about this tiny little desert planet and how it is just so central in so many stories. Because as I was listing the movies that Tatooine shows up in, I'm like, it is basically every movie except for episode 5, and I don't think it shows up in 7 and 8, but then it's still in Clone Wars. It's in Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett for sure. Obi-Wan Kenobi goes there. Like it's just such a central part of so many of these stories, and it's wild thinking about it because I'm a huge board game person on the side. One of my favorites is Star Wars Rebellion, which for the viewers can see the map. Is on these giant foldouts of where it is, and like you said, it is just so dang far away from everything.
Yeah,
literally Coruscant, all the way up to Tatooine, that nobody remembers that it exists.
Yeah,
it's not even a planet in this that builds anything. It's not that exciting.
And if you look at the big map that's on StarWars.com, they have the deep core planet, which has Coruscant in it. No, I take that back. That's not Coruscant there. I don't know what that planet is. But they have the deep core planets, which is like the central of now my zoom's going all over the
That's
place.
probably like Tython and other things
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah, and then you have the core planets, which that's where Coruscant is in the core planet.
Yeah.
Then you have the colonies. Then from the colonies, you have the inner rim. Oh my gosh, I apologize, people. I'm trying to do this with my touchpad, and it just likes to. There you go.
I got you.
You got
After
me?
the inner rim, you get into your expansion region.
Yes,
That's where
there we
you have
go.
a really small sliver of places, but some notable ones like Umbara from the Clone Wars. After that, you get to the mid-rims, the planets that still have a little bit of pull, but a lot of them are getting forgotten or kind of lost. I don't know if we go to a lot of these big ones. Ord Mantell definitely gets a little bit of play outside of there. Kashyyyk with the Wookiees is inside of this spot as well, and where the Bothans come from too. And then you find yourself in the Outer Rim. This is huge swath of the outside place. This is where all your good lawlessness really happens. But I mean, you still have some big familiar ones. So obviously, like you said, Tatooine, and then you'll run into like Felucia, Batu. If you ever visit the Disney parks, is part of this part. Utapau is all the way out here. Like, no wonder it's Outer Rim, and you're not finding it anywhere.
Yeah, so it's crazy how focal it is to all of the movies and how far out it is from the actual center of their galaxy and important planet in the galaxy. It's so not an important planet, but yet it's in every movie, which is really funny. Everything. Matt just chimed in and he said, do you think they'll ever go somewhere like Nar Shaddaa? That is Nick's favorite planet. Every time there's a casino planet, he's hoping that it's Nar Shaddaa. He said, I think it would be cool to see some different planets in the show. And I agree with you, Matt. And I don't know, I'm sure James does as well. Like, we want to see other planets, but then it's interesting. The Star Wars nerds, like if you look at this map, we said it earlier, there's like hundreds of planets on this map. The Star Wars nerd wants to see all these different planets. The Star Wars person who enjoys casual fan wants to see Tatooine, Coruscant, all the basic ones. They want to go back to see the Ewoks because they were so cute and fluffy. So they want to go back to the yeah. So I would like to see other new planets, but it's interesting whenever we go to a new planet, people are like, "Oh, that just looks just like Tatooine." Okay, but it's not Tatooine; it's a different planet. So
yeah, you talking about Jakku?
Yeah, exactly.
Like desert planet again. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool to see the expansion of places. Like you can give more depth, like they did in The Mandalorian with the Tusken Raiders speaking sign language. I'm like, that was a nice little thing, but we didn't need a whole show for that. Like one or two little extra interesting thing. There's so many cool places out there.
Yeah. So. So we got that. So all right. So Tatooine's the first planet that we all learn and love and find out that it's very far away. We mentioned this.
Movies, we probably spent too much time there.
That's right. We mentioned this one multiple times, but Coruscant is the central planet of the galaxy, serving as the capital of the Republic and the Empire, and location of. This is in the location of the Jedi Temple. There's Jedi temples all over the place, but this was like the main Jedi temple as well, because it was like, this is like Washington D.C. of the galaxy. This is the main, but I would think even more than Washington D.C. because Washington D.C. is only for America. This would if the planet Earth had a main capital, Coruscant is that main capital of the galaxy. So you can give us some more details.
Like the United Nations, but for trade and economy too, right?
Yeah, it's for everything. Yeah. So
I mean, it's wild. I love the concept of Coruscant. Of the planet is just a giant city, and then it goes like deep down into the core and gets worse and worse as you get further down. So it's got all that interesting parts going with it. But like a whole planet that's a whole city, man, I thought my commute was bad some days.
Oh, I know. Yeah. The entire planet is a city. There's like no grass. What was the one? What TV show was it where they went to the rock that was the highest mountain on the planet, but it was just like a little boulder that was left, and like you weren't allowed to touch it, and the one guy like touched it, he got yelled at or whatever. I forget what that rock was.
Hilarious. I don't remember that at all.
But
That's great.
That was pretty funny. Olivia said, I feel called out, but accurate. I want to see the basic places on my Star Wars Starbucks mugs and cute creatures. That's all she wants. She wants to just go to the main planets. And then you're going to get yelled at by all the Star Wars nerds who, well, they're not happy with anything, so it doesn't matter.
No.
But yeah, so Coruscant is the main of everything. You take anything that's important and you put it right there. Oh, he said it was in Rebels, he thinks. David thinks that was in Rebels. Right. I think so, yeah. All right, do you have more to add to Coruscant other than it's just an entire planet that is one giant city? And in some of the Rebels shows, you did see how the lower into the core you get, it was like the poor, the slums, and you could never like get out. It was very interesting. But yeah, so we have that.
I think they've done a good job with this one because this one has to show up in a lot of places just with how central it is to so much of the universe and the things that happen, that they haven't overdone Coruscant really, I feel like. So you're getting these little tastes of everything, especially I think about like Andor recently when you got to see Mon Mothma and everything going with that. It's like you need some of that to show up if you're doing anything related to normal universe stuff. So
yeah, definitely. And even with like you said with Andor, like we saw different parts of Coruscant now, so we're seeing all different things all over the place. So yes. Then we get to Naboo. Naboo is a beautiful planet. This is Tom and I played Star Wars Galaxies for many, many years, and many years after it ended as well. And I'm sure we'll go back to it on the server that we really like once they update everything and redo it and are ready to go again. But Naboo is the planet that we love to start on and build our own city in Star Wars Galaxies and things like that, because this is the planet that is closest related to Earth. It has nice, beautiful greenery and mountains and rivers, and it's a very nice, beautiful planet, a peaceful planet with diverse environments, including lush landscapes and underwater cities. And this is where Padme was born, and she was the senator from Naboo. Also, this is where Darth Jar Jar lives.
Yep.
So
the Sith Lord, gotta love him.
The Sith Lord Darth Jar Jar, which, by the way, I think we talked about it a little bit last episode. I can't wait for the new season of Rebuild the Galaxy, the Lego Star Wars. I rewatched them all. They're very short. You can watch, I think there's only 6 or 8 of them, and they were only like 14 minutes long each one. It was a fun, quick watch. But the black Millennium Falcon has all the fun characters with it, including the Darth Vader in all white as opposed to black, and the Darth Jar Jar character. So if you are into collecting Lego characters, because honestly, the Lego people sometimes are worth more than the minifigs are worth more than some of the sets are. And I think a white Darth Vader and a Darth Jar Jar are going to be, once that ship is no longer made, very expensive to try and buy a white costume Darth Vader in the future. So if you want to put something aside for a future investment, buy a couple of the black Millennium Falcons and just save it for later. All right, what else about Naboo? Tell me more about Naboo.
Well, I feel like Naboo is super interesting, in that swampiness that the planet is, because it was what we asked for in a movie of take us to a new planet, give it enough interest to hold us for the 2.5 hours and whatever else we're kind of doing with it. We'll come back to it, of course, because we have to, because you made a main character, the queen, and then the senator. And that's where everyone wants to go back to at this point. But it was fun to see like 2 species sharing the planet and figuring out how to coincide, because we get that, I don't remember if it's in a game or another show or something, where we deal with it on Mon Calamari as well, where you have the 2 different races that live there, and just how they have to kind of deal with all of that kind of experience too. And so it made for a fun story of like, right, just because a planet is like one biome doesn't mean it only has one people kind of living there with it.
Yeah, and they're so different in the fact that Jar Jar's whole species lives underwater,
Yep.
and they very rarely come above ground, and then Padme's species lives above land or above water and never goes underground. So the fact that these two work so well, and then they do have to work together to defend themselves from the Empire. So so it's a good, and it's a fun. Like, think of all the most beautiful places on Earth, and this is what you get when you go to Naboo. You get all the beautiful places and all that stuff. So it appears
in picturesque for a wedding or a battle,
yes,
whichever you prefer.
It has nice, big, lush fields for a battle, and it has beautiful palaces for a wedding. So
one in the morning, one in the evening.
There you go.
Choose the order.
You pick the order. You also have next. You have Alderaan, which you can't find it now.
Yeah, I think it's under construction.
It's under construction. But Alderaan is the planet that Princess Leia was raised on, which if you didn't know, and obviously George Lucas didn't know in the beginning, but Princess Leia is Luke Skywalker's sister, so they're related, but they were raised in two separate places to keep them away from Darth Vader, their father was Anakin, became Darth Vader. They separated them so that he wouldn't find them because he wanted to kill them because he knew that his child, I think he only knew that he was having one child. Did he know he was having twins?
Didn't know he was having twins, I don't think.
I don't think so either. So he knew his child would be the only one that could defeat him, so they had to keep him hidden. So they separated the twins and moved Princess Leia to the beautiful planet of Alderaan with her adopted father, Bail Organa. And this was also a very, very beautiful planet until, no spoilers here, episode 4.
Haven't spoiled anything yet.
There's this baddie named Darth Vader, and he's mad at Princess Leia, so he says, watch what I do. And then he blows up Alderaan, so you can never find it again. But it was a beautiful planet until the Death Star blew it up, and bad Death Star. Olivia said, they're twins? What? I didn't know this. Well, now you know. Sorry. And it's also funny. Did you see I remember collecting them because I'm old. But did you see the Star Wars baseball cards from the late 70s, early 80s? There was
I
Topps.
don't remember those.
Okay. So there's Topps baseball cards, and I had them. I don't have them anymore. I don't know what happened. Whatever. But in the original Topps baseball cards, Leia is actually older than Luke if you look at their ages and things like that.
Okay.
Because I guess that came out before they tried to retcon it with George Lucas going, let's make them twins. So before he decided that they were going to be twins. So if you look at the baseball cards, they have different ages on them in the baseball cards. And then they said, oh, no, we made a mistake. Now they're twins, which is okay. That happens all the time. It's fine. I started listening to Pod Meets World, which is the Boy Meets World podcast with 3 of the characters from Boy Meets World, and
sounds incredible.
It's fun. They're on episode like 600 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So I tried watching from the beginning, but I have to scroll through so many to get all the way down to the beginning again. But they were talking in the very beginning. Sean, Corey's best friend, continuity wasn't very good with his family. There was one episode where he said he was the younger brother, and he had an older brother. Then like 5 episodes later, he's talking about how he has a sister, and then you don't see any relatives, just that he now lives in a trailer, because they made one joke in like episode 9 about him living in a trailer park, and then from then on out, he lived in a trailer park. And then you don't see a brother again until, I don't know, season whenever 5 or 6, when the brother then comes and suddenly now he has a brother later on in the show. But yeah, continuity in the 80s and 70s and 80s and 90s was kind of hard to keep track of. They finally realized later on, maybe we should pay attention to these things because people rewatch it and go, hey, wait a minute. So, yeah. So Alderaan, great planet. No longer, you can't go there. I always want to write a character about somebody who, like, lived on Alderaan and went on vacation to another planet at the time that the Death Star blew it up. And then they're like they were a Jedi, they went somewhere, their planet got blown up, so then they're, like, angry and they become not necessarily a Sith, but, like, kind of like Ahsoka, where you're like a mid, you're not all Jedi because now you have anger in you, but you're also not a Sith, so you're whatever, somewhere in between there. But yes. And then the next planet that I have is Hoth, which was a frozen world that the Rebel Alliance established a base on during the Galactic Civil War. So we see Hoth in episode 5, right? Yes.
Yep,
yeah.
Episode 5.
In the very beginning of episode 5. Yes. So they're all on Hoth because that's where they can hide, because Hoth is so cold that nobody wants to live there. As you wrote down, you can read it, a desolate ice planet. But yeah, so this was neat because it was a whole different scene. And in the behind the scenes, they talk a lot about how difficult it was to film there because of the white and everything. But go ahead, tell me more. I'm tired of talking. I talk too much.
And Hoth was so cool because, yeah, it's the snow planet that they're hiding in, but they still have these giant structures that they've put up, like the ion cannon and other things, to try to keep themselves safe while they build what I imagine they hoped would be a more permanent base. Not that it was necessarily the best spot for a base by any means, but I mean, they were close to a hyperspace route. They weren't too far from Bespin, but still kind of hard to get lost in there. But this is such a cool planet for, again, the characters and the creatures that we meet, because this is where we get to meet the Tauntauns and the other, the big baddie that captures Luke. But
yes,
won't spoil it for too much. And then you just see, like, the contrast of Darth Vader showing up on a snow planet. His black against the white is great as the snow troopers show up, and that's where we see the AT-ATs really kind of wreaking havoc. And you just really get this good sense of how scrappy the rebels have to be in this fight, because they're not fighting with starfighters like you'd want them to be in this situation, but they're improvising and still finding success like they do because they have that heart and desire to really kind of fight through it. So it just makes for such a great scene as you wander through these people just out in the snow for whatever reason, trying to survive and hoping for the best. And yet you still get all the cool kind of technology built in. I'm so shocked that there aren't more like igloos or other kind of style of abodes that would show up in something like this for them to live in.
Yeah.
But it's just so prominent through episode 5 and just so important in that one. Part of me is surprised we haven't gone back, but then again, it is kind of a desolate moon, so it's like, not a lot of reason to go back to something.
No,
like
once the Empire found their base, there was like really no reason to go back there again, I would say. But it also did give us my favorite ship, I think, the T-47 airspeeder. Mm-hmm. The ship, and like you said, they're scrappy. This is where they decide, we can't blow up these AT-ATs because they're too heavily armored and we can't get to them. But what we can do is tie up their legs and make them fall over. And they use these T-47 airspeeders to do that. I really wish, and then I did a little research on the T-47 airspeeders and found that they don't have they can't fly out of the atmosphere. They don't have that capability. And I was like, well, why have a spaceship that can't fly into space? And I was like, okay, I guess it's kind of like that's their version of a car or their version of a tank kind of type thing where, everything floats there. Every single ship that they have, even like Luke's land speeder on Tatooine, that can't go off into space either, but everything just floats. So it's like a low spaceship, like a car, or like I said, like a tank, like something that just stays low. But it doesn't have a hyperdrive, so it can't go into hyperspace, and it doesn't really fly out of the atmosphere. So it's interesting in that aspect, or maybe it just doesn't have a hyperdrive. It might fly into the atmosphere. I apologize if I'm wrong.
I think part of the problem too, like, is whether it's the ships or not, it's just so dang cold there that it probably impacts a lot of the technology. That even if they could figure it out, it just isn't a thing that really goes from there.
Yeah, exactly. So, so they're really cool. They have 2 giant cannons on them that they tried to shoot the AT-ATs, and they couldn't do it. And then they wrap their legs up, and then Darth Vader comes in. You see, like you said, you see his black walking through the base, and they sneak out the back and they get away, and then they have to find a new base to go to. But Hoth was really cool, and if you think they're smelly on the outside, be careful with the inside.
This planet is one that I know, like, interesting that they filmed it like in like rural Finland to make, or Norway, I think, to make this happen. And so they're really out in the snow. This is before the volume where they could really make a lot of that cool stuff happen. And so I'm just like imagining those poor people out in probably sub-freezing temperatures, and the camera equipment functioning about as well as those air speeders.
Yeah. And actually there was one scene that they talked about in the Lucasfilm biography documentary where the scene that Luke is like in a blizzard and he collapses is filmed right outside of their hotel that they were staying in. There was a blizzard in the hotel, or blizzard around them, and George Lucas, or whoever the director was, I forget who the director was for this one, but he was like, quick. They set up the camera in the doorway of the hotel, and they said, walk out there, there's a blizzard, walk out there right now, and then collapse. So that's pretty much the parking lot of the hotel that he's walking through. So it's incredible. It's like so crafty, and they were like, oh, this is the perfect scene. In the meantime, they're blizzarded into the hotel, and they couldn't get out, but they got that perfect shot. According to AI on Google, the T-47 airspeeder, snowspeeder, cannot fly in space because it is a low-altitude, in-atmosphere spacecraft designed for atmospheric flight and lacks the necessary components for space, such as shield, space-rated thrusters, life support, and pressurization. So I was right. They cannot go into space. But I want one of those in real life. I want that ship in real life. I don't care about the cannons. They don't have to work. I just really like that ship. I think that's a fun ship. But anyway.
It's a cool ship.
It's a cool ship. All right. Endor's the next one on my list. Which this is the one that the casual Star Wars fan is going to love, because this gave us our first set of cuteness. Endor is a forest moon. Well, there was the forest moon of Endor, I should say.
Yep.
Be clear, where the Ewoks live is not on Endor, but it's their moon, which is a forest moon, which is much different from our moon. Our moon is not a forest moon.
No, but we also don't live on a gas giant planet. So,
that is true, yes.
Yeah, so we take what we get.
We take what we can get. And it is home to the Ewoks, which, let me tell you, as a young kid, when this came out, I loved the Ewoks. And it was funny because Nick is considerably younger than me, and he likes porgs over Ewoks. He thinks they're cuter than the Ewoks.
Oh, that is a hard debate.
Yeah, so what is cuter, Ewoks or porgs? That is the question.
Oh, man. I didn't know we were on the Supreme Resort. I'd probably have to still pick Ewoks just because they actually contribute more than just sitting there.
True, they do something rather than just be dinner for Chewbacca.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes,
the porgs are adorable, but the Ewoks, they're just this ball of cute fur that thinks they're tough.
And are very, very shifty, very, very creative in their toughness for being such little fellas. They can take down an AT-ST like nobody's business.
Yeah, we thought the rebels were good.
Yeah, these guys are even better. So, so that's for the chat as well. What do you think? Are Ewoks cuter or are porgs cuter? But I think Ewoks are cuter. But then again, I grew up with Ewoks versus porgs, and Ewoks had their own 2, I don't think 3, I think only 2 TV shows that made it to ABC in the 80s. They were not very good, but there were, and they had a cartoon also. So they had
really?
3. They had Ewok Adventures cartoon, and I think it was like a Saturday morning cartoon back when there were cartoons in the Saturday mornings. And there were 2 TV shows about the Ewoks, made for TV movies / TV show type things. They were pretty bad, but check them out. They are all on Disney Plus, so definitely go check them all out. But yeah, so Endor was the planet that the Ewoks were on, so that's all you need to know. I do love the Ewoks tree villages that...
Oh, they're so cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're so
the
high.
idea of living in a tree house or a tree fort that wild up in the trees, ropes to swing around, things to climb on. Like, we're talking about a really fun time on this one.
Yes, 100%. And unfortunately, for some reason, the Empire decided to put the shield generator for the second Death Star on there as they were building it. So they were trying to hide it behind the moon of the planet Endor. Which is why we actually got to see this planet, because the Empire was using it as their lockdown, as their docking station for the new Death Star when the new Death Star was being developed and built.
Had to build that one up. Yep.
Yep, had to build it up. So there we go. So that's how we get to meet the Ewoks. So that's the planet of Endor. What's my next one after Endor? I have Bespin, which is a gas giant with city in the clouds called Cloud City, where Han Solo is captured because he is sold out by his best friend in crime, Lando Calrissian. But I wouldn't say they were best friends. They knew each other.
They were definitely frenemies.
Yeah, they were definitely frenemies. That's a good word for it.
Yeah, they got along. They both wanted the same ship. They had all the dreams of making all the money in the world. They were true scoundrels, 100%.
Yep, and very, very much so frenemies because they played. And even if you watch the original, well, not the original, the Han Solo movie, you can see it even better. And I do like they retconned the Han Solo movie to fit in there so that you saw. They talked about the games that they played, the card games and things like that. And you actually Sabacc, and you got to actually see them play it and things like that. I bought the Sabacc card deck in Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. So it's fun. It combines blackjack and poker, kind of, with a little bit more twist on it, and it could be a good card game to play if you. Once you learned all the different hands that you could have and things like that, it could be a fun card game to play. I think
identifying the shapes too.
And the shapes, yeah. So there's a lot to it. It is a little bit more complicated than our card games that we have, but it would be a lot of fun to play. But yeah, so Cloud City is a neat city on the planet of Bespin, and we find out that we're there because Lando is mining whatever the gases are that's on the planet. He's trying to become, he's legitimate, but I still think that he's definitely doing some shady stuff while he's there.
Of course he is.
Because he's a scoundrel. That's what he does.
Absolutely. Especially when his good friend Han shows up. So. Yep.
And that's also where we meet, what's the guy's name with the ice cream maker? The running of the Wills?
That sounds right.
So we get to meet. This is for those of you who aren't deep Star Wars fans. There's one scene where after Lando makes an APB that says everybody get off the city, get out as quickly as you can because Darth Vader's going to blow it up. All these people just
get out.
Yeah, all these people just start running side to side. And this one guy has an ice cream maker under his arm as he's running. Nobody really knows what it is at the time. They have since then gone back and, retconned this also and called it a Camptono. It's like a briefcase, a very secure type of briefcase. But in all reality, in 1983, it was nothing more than just a portable ice cream maker that
And
they
I'm
said.
just imagining this because this is like everyone gets. This is like the conundrum of like your house is on fire. You can grab one thing. What are you gonna grab?
What are you gonna grab?
Ice cream maker. That's what I want.
Just made vanilla. It's my favorite. I have to do it. I have to grab this.
Exactly. Like, all right, guess that dude didn't have a family. So
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I do.
Also, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna
add about this. Bespin's one of my favorite planets, so I'm big into tabletop role playing.
Okay.
And there's an adventure in Edge of the Empire, one of the game systems that they have called the Jewel of Yavin that takes place on Bespin, not to be confused, because of course it's all smuggler stuff. Probably one of the favorite campaigns that they have in this series. Just does a really nice job exploring the planet and giving it exactly the feel that you would expect something that someone like Lando would end up running. So
That's awesome. I like tabletop games like that, but I don't have enough friends who play tabletop games for me to even want to invest in it. There's one guy in the neighborhood, he really is way into it, but we went over his house once, we started playing it, and we were playing the original Star Wars one that you held up, and he has played it multiple times. I was getting destroyed and didn't even know that I had no shot of winning whatsoever.
yeah.
And he was like, "Do you want me to leave it set up?" And I was like, "Nah." Like I lost interest. I saw quickly that I had no shot. I was like, "Yeah, I made major mistakes in here." But they are fun. They are fun, and it's a shame because everything is on phones or computers now, and it is fun to be able to just, just get rid of all the technology. Yeah. Desensitize, whatever. I don't know what the words I'm trying to use, but yeah. So it is fun that you're into so many of those different board games like that. So that is fun.
It's fun. The biggest enemy is truly scheduling. So
Yes, yeah, it so is. Now, did you do Dungeons and Dragons as a kid also?
yes, a couple times as a kid, but more so as an adult since the pandemic. So
Okay.
that's been great.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's tons of fun systems now to explore. There's something up there for everyone. So Star Wars fans have a couple of systems, D&D. There's a few offshoots that go with it. So easy to find as long as you have friends to play with, or if you find them online. That's where I found one of my tables as well. So
That's fun. That's awesome. And even on DL Weekly, they had some people who created games. And you can do a lot of them now online the same way that you could having 8 people in a room with you. So that is pretty cool.
it's true. Maybe we'll have to do one with you and the Jejeric table guys.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I'm sure you would destroy us because you know all the rules already. And we're like, hey, maybe I should move all my Jedi to this planet called Andor. This seems like a good idea.
Definitely. Yep.
All right, the last one that I have, and I know you have more than that, is Dagobah, which was a swamp planet where Luke Skywalker trains with Yoda. So this was fun meeting Yoda after he hides from Order 66. He's now living on the swamp planet just to, 900 years old. I guess he's now saying, like, this is close to the edge of my life. I don't know. So it was very swampy and very dark and scary when you're looking at it. That definitely,
Yes.
and the first time that we meet Yoda, he is definitely a lot different than the Yoda that they make him out to be later on when they redo the original movie, or not redo but when they go back for episodes 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
and the cartoons and all that stuff. He's very just a prankster and just whatever, almost like he's like losing his mind, you would think, but like I don't know, but it was interesting meeting him for the first time. R2-D2 did not have fun on this planet.
No, he did not. Yeah, I find that Yoda change so interesting because, you wonder, is it the isolation? Is it the planet itself? Or has he just kind of racked himself with so much guilt? Because that's always one of the things that I think about is, why did he put himself into exile on his own?
Yeah.
It seemed like, and based on the combat, he was going fairly toe-to-toe with Palpatine, maybe slightly losing, if anything, but then he just has to be like, nope, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And Is it like he's hoping that someone will find him in his long life to be able to make it happen like it did? Does he think he's the only hope in that sense? Or is he just like so ashamed that he's just like, I can't see the universe fall apart because I let this happen?
We'll come back to more planets later on. And real fast, are you reading a book right now, James?
I am. Shout out Winding Rivers Library for giving me the Libby app to let me find all the Star Wars books that I am looking for. I am currently reading Canto Bight, which is a short book of 4 different authors wrote 4 short stories about random characters and kind of some happenstance that brings them together. So the first one is like an assassin and another guy that managed to win a vacation to go to Canto Bight, basically, and how they kind of merge together in a bit of a story. And the second one is a little bit more commerce and kind of see where it goes. So it's 4 different authors. And so it's super interesting take that just happens to be on the casino planet of Canto Bight. Canto Bight, the 4 stories from Canto Bight. Now, my book is another Timothy Zahn book because I wanted to keep reading Timothy Zahn books because I really like him as an author. This one's called Spectre of the Past, The Hand of Thrawn, Book 1. I read the older Thrawn books. This one is a new one, and this one takes place after Thrawn dies. So it's interesting that it's a Thrawn book after Thrawn dies. It's good so far. I like it. It's not grabbing me as much as the Allegiance did, which is the one that I read last time, or even Choices of One, which was the other book by about Cara. Not Cara. About Mara Jade. Those 2 books, really good. They grabbed me right away. I really liked them. This one is like a slow build up to it, so I'm enjoying it. But the book came out. It's from like 97, I think, was the original copyright on it. This particular book that's in my hand is a copyright 2015. So it's a 10-year-old book. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll see that all these pages, the first 3 chapters, just fell out of the book as I was turning pages. They just kept ungluing themselves and falling out because it's been sitting on somebody's shelf somewhere for quite some time. So I got it from Amazon. I wrote them a complaint. They sent me a new one. And by the time the new one came, I was like deeper into the book. Like I'm up to like chapter 8 now. But the new book, the pages are not falling out of. So I'm not blaming anybody. It is an older print of the book. It is an older book to start with. So, glue dries out. And if you try to pull back a book when the glue is a little bit dried out, I guess the pages are going to fall out of it. Apparently so.
Apparently so, yes. So I have to return that one back to Amazon because the pages fell out of it. But the book itself is okay.
Pages first.
So that's that. So that's at the end of our book talk. Since the computer doesn't want us to go longer than an hour, and we're pushing an hour and 30 minutes now, I think we're going to call it a day there, James. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's time for a good nap. Maybe off to Naboo or somewhere in the upper levels of Coruscant could be pretty pleasant. So.
Yes, I agree. Let me look at the map. I think we're going to go... We can go all the way out to Karlak, which is out in the Outer Rim. I'm sure good things are going to happen way out there. There's At Aden. We can go to At Aden. That was such a good series.
It's on the map?
It's on the map, yeah. It's in the Outer Rim. It's on the map.
Nobody knows where it is, though, so that's great.
But now that they do, and so whatever. But yeah, so I'm going to go to At Aden because those kids were fun. I really like that planet, and that was a good... We'll talk about that planet a bunch later. So, all right, well, for now, that's the end of this episode. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the friends of us who joined in the chat. David, Olivia, Matt was there as well for a brief moment. So thanks all of you guys who joined us in the chat. We'll be back 2 Mondays from now, and maybe I'll get this whole computer thing figured out by then. We can keep James on for the whole show.
Maybe.
Maybe. So until then, James, we have spoken. You say it now.
Oh, yes, we have spoken.
There we go. You have to learn the ways of Bantha Milk Podcast.
I do. I was like, oh, you said the line. I don't say it anymore. Oh, okay. No, we will say it. I got it. I'm with you.
There we go. All right. Bye, everybody.